Sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
That's not fair.
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? Your blatant disregard for court proceedings. I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud.
Well, he's not a lawyer.
You that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all?
No.
But I'm sure of what I saw.
Asuga-san, if there's any chance you're mistaken, perhaps your memory events are hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone.
I don't believe it. Actually, oh, sorry.
I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to.
Nice.
Let me see. Sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. I don't see.
How do you see? What is this?
What counts as a person? What counts as a person?
I mean, it's saying that there's like 4 chairs at a table. I don't see that.
Well, you're clearly a very conscious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record.
I didn't expect that.
Oh, is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course, here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now.
Something seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered in the court record.
Can you turn that around?
Probably.
Can you examine it?
Oh, not right now.
The court has now heard a precise of the case.
Let's look at that business card. Okay.
There's gotta be something behind it.
I can't seem to flip it around, but I can magnify things. Entrance, the kitchen's over here.
It probably won't allow you to do it, but it's probably like something behind it, like blows the whole case
This
or
does not
something.
tell me who's sitting where. I don't know why
It
they're all
doesn't
like,
say anything.
he was sitting alone.
It's just a bunch of... Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here.
What?
Defendant Norohodo, you're guilty.
Yes,
You're
Your
gonna go to jail.
Excellency.
You're guilty.
If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court will willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I call this waiter as an unsworn witness. Unsworn in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime.
What's the difference between a sworn and unsworn one? You're saying this guy could have been lying?
Yeah?
What do you think I should do, Kazuha?
Go to jail. What do you mean?
Oh, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, right? Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty and hope for a more lenient sentence?
What?
Everyone keeps telling me this trial's unusual about these peculiarities. You said it. Professor Mikotoba said it. And so is the judge and prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this.
As I said from the outset, I believe your innocence. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing to now to throw in that trust back in my face? Is that it?
What?
If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. You are going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke.
I know you're 3 days from retirement.
The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out these witnesses. Then we'll see how decisive the evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Orochi, please continue the proceedings.
Yes, well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be.
Ugh.
In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever.
Execution in court.
Execution in court. Prosecution calls its next witnesses.
I guess we don't cross-examine the first guy.
Oh,
Very well. Officer, bring forth the witness at once.
Oh, we got 2 people.
What?
witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. The Great Napoleon Imperial Army Sergeant, Isla Nora, reporting for duty, sir.
Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of the fine articles antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon. Conduct my trade from Ryasute, humble premises in its 2nd district, Kurio Horikuta at your service.
An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned.
Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon. Not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business.
I can't understand a word that old man is saying.
He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele.
Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that Sergeant more looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what could only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded this firearm, sir.
What was with the baby noise?
Was he holding a baby? Behind his back?
This one's as impossible to understand as the other. I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said.
Well, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that they actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead.
But how is that possible? Because if we look here, he was sitting this way. In order for him to reach the same way that he's sitting in the picture, he has to be facing the entrance.
Yep.
He's not facing any of the tables, and the bullet didn't go all the way through him.
Hmm.
So no one could have seen that.
Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable?
I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start.
Now, the court will hear from your formal testimony, please.
Thank you.
You'll state everything you saw, the precise moment that the incident occurred.
What table were you at so I can mark this in the OneNote?
Yeah, there's a baby. Yes,
See
sir.
baby
Stay
noise.
I'm ready to report, sir.
Unsavory memories of a most exotic afternoon.
I get to do both of them at once.
I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden carrier to the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's action with my own eyes. The black uniform virtually cadet fired on the Englishman civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Oh, there it is.
You shot him in the back.
I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious carrier.
Oh, and that's what's behind his back. The
He's
other
still
guy
a
says
baby.
his item's missing.
Oh, his baby.
Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment? You saw a split second that when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim? Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. The wicked university's cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgiving enemy.
How am I not the—
He's
Wait,
got
he
a
has a knife!
He's gonna knife.
He's got a knife! Oh my gosh!
He's gonna stab the dude.
The times we live in when an Englishman, gentleman, may be assailed in the broad light of day.
This is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone.
Is that really true, Nosuke?
Now you don't believe me. Yes, all I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor.
And fired it 3 times.
After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. Oh, that might be the antiquity. Thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up,
Well, that's true. There's obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in those 2 witnesses' testimony, there's a clue as to who the criminal was. I mean, there really wasn't.
there is?
Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine.
Cross-examine? I don't know what that is. I'm not a lawyer!
Do it now.
As we have heard, your excellency, there's no room for doubt in the testimony.